Hello dear tea friends from around the world. Welcome to a new tea class with me, Stéphane Erler. I'm the founder of the Tea Masters blog and the tea-masters.com tea boutique. This week I'm dedicating this class to an account of the harvests of the high mountains in Alishan and in Shan. I'm just back this week with great oolongs from these two mountains. I want to share a bit the experience about the 2025 spring harvests and brew this Long Feng Xia Shan high mountain oolong using Long Feng Gaiwan. Long Feng means dragon phoenix, so it's very fitting that for this dragon phoenix section of Shan I'm using a dragon phoenix Gaiwan. And while I'll brew this tea, I will tell you more about the teas that I have selected for my boutique in this spring from these two mountains. So let's start by preheating a bit our Gaiwan. Of course, we want to speak about the novelties, the new teas, but also about what's new on Tea Masters. And this year, I've made the acquisition of a drone, and I've posted lots of videos already about the plantations in Alishan and Shan. The first I posted this week was about Long Feng Xia, 1,600 meters. This is the highest point in Shan, where there are lots of plantations, one next to another. The tea that I'm brewing today was harvested on May the 4th of this year, so it's just 1 week old. And I was there on May the 5th, so I was able to take videos of a different plantation that was being harvested. The wind was a bit strong because this part of the mountain is facing, it's not like when two mountains are close to each other, sometimes one protects the other and there's not so much wind. Here it's very far to the next mountain, so there was a lot of wind, so that's why I didn't have nice clean shots for my video, but I had much more chance later on in Yangkang, still in Shan, with a beautiful shot. This one I even left it uncut to give you all the full footage of the video in Yangkang, where no wind, and this plantation had been harvested even a little bit earlier. It's one that you will recognize because I've taken pictures of it already for several years. I have a long-term relationship with the farmers there, and for this plantation again I have taken 2 days of harvests to show you the differences that can happen in aroma just between 2 days. The first day had a much more power, much more energy, and the second one more elegance, more sweetness also. So it really depends on your taste, and I think that it's an interesting comparison to make between these two days from the same plantation. This is the Long Feng Xia. However, I want to brew now because it's a tea that did not have in my selection for almost 7 years, and it's a new farmer I've been working with now for over a year. Actually, he's a farmer that also has plantations in Dongding and Yonglong, and then this one in Long Feng Xia. Actually, that's where I already have the wet tea from Long Feng Xia in my selection last summer. So a Qingxing Oolong wet tea, and now a Qingxing Oolong high mountain spring oolong. Let's brew it. Then I was also able to go to Alishan. From there, we already have the Jinshuan from Ruifeng. We have now Qingxing from Ruifeng, which is very well balanced, and the lower priced Qingxing Oolong, so a great daily drink for people who love either Jinshuan or Qingxing Oolong. In Jiangsu, I have selected two batches. One that is close to the farm, and where I also took a picture of me brewing tea in the tea fields. This one you will find in this Tea Masters channel on YouTube, not under the live category, but under the video category. Yeah? So if you're looking for these videos, go in the video category, not in the live category where I make my classes. And I have an Alishan top, which is located just next to the organic plantation from which I had tea last year. Also two different dates. Last year from an organic plantation. This year I preferred the plantation next to it. So that's one, but only one day this time. So it's still in Jiangsu, but it's in a higher location. This explains why it was harvested almost 2 weeks later than the Jiangsu Qingxing Oolong on 24th of April. This one I think May 2nd. What is the common theme this year in Alishan? I would say it is the delayed harvests compared to last year. We had cooler weather in this spring that delayed the growth of the oolong leaves and even also Jinshuan. It all was a bit delayed, and usually the best conditions for oolong in the high mountains to grow is when the leaves grow slowly, thanks to good temperatures during the day, and then it cools off at night and in the afternoon thanks to the mist and the clouds that exist in the high mountains. But this year it was cooler for a longer time, and when the temperature started to rise, because we were later in the year, so this means the sun was present longer, and the temperatures all of a sudden were much higher than they usually are. So this presented with a challenge that in the beginning of the season, the leaves were really growing very, very small or not at all. And at the end, just before harvesting, they were all of a sudden growing very quickly, too quickly. And so timing was really very important to find the right balance between freshness, the smaller leaves with fine aromas growing in cooler conditions, and then later on the long leaves that bring in a lot of weight, but when they grow too quickly, they don't carry much flavors. They are just very sweet, but not very aromatic. So in some cases, farmers were in a rush. They had first thought that they would be harvesting on a certain date, but then tried to harvest earlier in order to get the maximum freshness out of the leaves. Worried that the leaves would grow old too quickly and lose these very specific high mountain fresh aromas that make their usual beauty. Very sweet, very fresh. Remember also that Shan is particularly fragrant, flowery. This Long Feng Xia is even more elegant than Yangkeng, I would say. And we did a good job opening the leaves with the first brew. So I really recommend that you go to my page of videos to watch the plantations in Long Feng Xia, Yangkeng, Alishan, and see the surrounding conditions of these plantations. The Alishan top is nicely surrounded by forest. The one in Jiangsu is really at the top of a mountain with a wonderful landscape, wonderful view. And of course, in Long Feng Xia, actually, there was even an eagle flying over these plantations. At one point, I was afraid that he might mistake my drone for a little bird and destroy it. But so that's why I did not dare to go too far. Let's do a second brew of Dragon and Phoenix Oolong. Voilà. Hop, still. Oh, by the way, today in Taiwan is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers who are following me right now. Enjoy your tea. So this only 1 week old high mountain oolong from Qingxing. The harvests in Lishan and Cuifeng are underway. It's still a bit early for the highest plantations in Lishan and Daoling. So far the leaves are still a bit too small. Today there was a lot of rain that should have brought some nourishment to the leaves. They need water to grow. Hopefully there will be also sunshine in the coming days so that they will grow well. So that we can, anyway, we already have an excellent high mountain oolong with this Long Feng Xia Qingxing oolong from May 4th. Very clean, very pure, and leaves that are really very lightly oxidized, very tender, very few huang pian, the leaves. Have also some oxidation marks on the side, like here, typical large high mountain oolong leaf. Hello Elizabeth. Thank you for your comment about the videos. I'm glad that you enjoy them. You say that they are spectacular. And it was a lot of fun making those videos, even though sometimes, since I'm not yet a drone expert, these are the first hours of flight I'm having with this new toy. So sometimes I get sweaty palms when the drone goes very far away. I almost cannot see it anymore. Sometimes it gets disconnected from my remote controls, and some angst goes down my spine. Oh, will I recover it? So far it has always come back. I hope it will continue, that I can continue to make great videos of the plantations where I'm getting my teas for you, and so that you can really get a better picture, just to say, to see how beautiful these landscapes are, and you get a better idea of how difficult also it is to work for the people who harvest, for the people who go there. The roads are very steep to climb, sometimes they're very small to access these plantations. So it gives you a glimpse of how these teas are made, and it's always come back with lots of energy from these high mountains, and this is also the energy that goes into these teas, and the smell that I smell on the mountains is the smell that I get in the cup. So this is also one way for me to remember my feelings when I'm on the mountain, and make sure that these are really the teas that come from over there. And this sweetness. Hello Terry, you are enjoying Mother's Day with the May 19th, 2024 High Mountain Oolong from Darjeeling. Great. And seeing the landscape enhances enjoyment of the tea. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. I'm glad that you are able to enjoy the tea even more by getting the connection. For me, a tea, an old tea is like a time machine, and a fresh tea is like a travel machine, so that you are able to travel through your senses of smell and taste to these places where the tea is grown. So today, lots of pure energy, sweetness, refinement also in Long Feng Xia. So in all, we had a good spring. The tea trees had longer time to rest and hibernate during winter, and this is what makes a big difference between the spring teas and the winter oolongs. Winter has kind of similar temperature, similar climate, but the teas don't have all this bursting energy that we find in the spring, because the big difference is in winter the tea trees have worked the whole year long. They are a bit exhausted. Here they had time to rest between November until beginning of May. So that's almost half a year of rest. And when all of a sudden all the juices come up in these leaves, it brings much more energy, high fragrances than in the winter oolongs that can also be very fine and especially very sweet, but lacking a little bit this energy. That's why I think spring high mountain oolongs are a favorite for most oolong drinkers. And I'm glad that this year the farmers were able to harvest these oolongs under good conditions. The risk is, as we go in the month of May, in Taiwan it's called also as Meiyu, there's plum rain in the month of May. Plum rain because the raindrops that fall down are as big as plums, so very heavy rains. We had such a rain this morning. It was almost impossible to go outside without getting wet completely. Actually, I had to go to the market, and my trousers and shoes were very quickly very wet, even with an umbrella. So it's more difficult to harvest in May than in late April. Luckily, there's a bit less rain in the center of the island, and farmers are still always able to find a day or two here and there to make the harvests on the good times, especially if the plantation belongs to them. So all these plantations that I've selected were come from the original plantations, not OEM, and these makers make sure that they harvest on the best day possible in the year, and that's why the quality is also superior to an average high mountain oolong, I think, that you can find in Taiwan. Thank you very much. Oh, we have another comment from Talki. That's right, those high mountain shootings were mouth-watering. Great. I'm glad that you also enjoyed them. I'm still a bit find that there are not as many views as there should be for these videos. So if you have friends who love high mountain oolongs, you can also forward them to share them with your friends. And anyway, for me, it's even more fun to make them. You're really getting the feeling that you are flying. I still have a few more videos that I'm going to post this week, and I hope that I'll make some more in the coming weeks. Thank you very much for watching. I'll finish my tea and I say goodbye. See you next week again for another tea class with me. Bye bye.